Welcome back to M Hood Fishing. It's going to be an inside video today, and you're going to have to excuse the noise of the fan because it is really hot in my tackle room. But this is where I need to do something. I can't do the something I've been trying to do on this channel, and that is fishing because of thunderstorms. There just so happens to be one rolling through right now. For a few days we've had bad weather. We've been getting hit hard by thunderstorms, and I wish it would stop, but it is what it is. There is something in the tackle room that I must address before it's just chaos, before it's a nightmare. It's right behind me. Do you see the problem here? Do you see the problem? All right, so this video is not about me addressing this. I have to reorganize, and I'm going to show you what's up. You see, I have this metal shelf that I cut to fit here, sitting on this work table, and can you see how there's too much weight? It's been here for maybe 3 years, and it's just starting to fail. It's starting to go downhill, and eventually everything's going to go that way. This video is about the tackle I never use. We're going to look at it. Before I get that stuff down and take a look at it, I just want to say this. This is a daunting project, but even if the table wasn't doing that, even if there wasn't pending chaos here, this is something that I would have to do very soon eventually, right? Because my goal... Whoa! So, if you don't know, I've said a few times already, when I can't produce daily videos for this channel, I guarantee you that I'm able to do it on M Hood Discovered. So if you want to go over there and check out what's going on, it'll give you a good insight into what's in my mind, what I'm planning right now, where I'm headed as I go down the road here. And it's not in circles here in this house, which is really in bad shape. It's something else, and eventually I'm going to just have to slim down. I want to head towards van life. Definitely want to head out of this house, possibly out of this town, but we're in this town for the moment. It is a good town, but I do want to go to other places, and I have a lot in my life right now, a lot going on. So every day I take care of stuff, and if I'm stuck in here, I'm not just going to sit around and do nothing. I'm going to do something, and I've been trying to give you a video. Here's the video I'm giving you. Maybe I'll be able to fish later if I have the energy, if it's not raining. You never know what's going to happen with the weather. It could just keep going. It could just last 30 minutes. It's fairly typical this time of year that we get a downpour in the afternoon, but it's just been very significant of lately, just messing everything up. But if I don't fix this, it's going to mess everything up. Seriously, won't be able to get in this door until we get it done. So let's get into this. It's going to take a while because look how much junk. It's just disorganized. Here's my junk table. Here's that. So all this has to be taken care of, but we're just going to look at the tackle that you never see. Did you want to come in here? $16 boxes that I rarely get in, right? So I collected all this over the years of this channel, which is about 15 by now. Some of it I bought, some of it I found in the garbage, some of it came from yard sales, some of it was donated, sent to me by subscribers. Some of it came from my father. The one time he showed up out of the blue and dumped a bunch of stuff on me, which I was thankful for that time. And some of it came from fly-by-night companies. There is some stuff in here that I don't want because it's garbage, and it's not the stuff people gave me. It's not necessarily it's not the stuff my father gave me. It's the stuff that, and I'll show you, it's come from some companies that we've never heard of, right? A lot of these boxes are themed. For the most part, in this box we have jerkbaits, right? Now there are some good jerk baits in here by reputable companies, jerk baits that track correctly, and then there are jerk baits in here that either don't track, don't catch, or they're okay. There's a collection of jerk baits in here. This is a part of that collection that came from a e-commerce site that sent me a collection of jerk baits, and I don't know, it's like 30 or more pieces. Remember back in the day when various e-commerce sites offered collections of crankbaits or topwaters at a phenomenal price for a set of 30 to 50 or whatever. And sometimes they work, or a few of them work, and the rest are just stupid, or the coloring is stupid. Some of these have worked, right? I don't know, I might keep some of those ones, but like this one right here, this is a reputable company, and so is this one here attached to it. But then the one at the bottom is from an e-commerce site. Now, a lot of these baits are all made, most of these baits are all made in China, with a few exceptions. It's not to say that all baits made in China are garbage, but the way things go with stuff made in China, there's good stuff made in China and tons of bad stuff made in China. You get all of it. So I think that is a Rapala right there. I can't see what that says, but this is a good bait right here. But that's better for up north. That'll come with me, including this one here. You could get this to work for trout though, speckled trout at times. Maybe both of these would work. However, they're designed for up north. They're designed for like walleye and other things up there. I'm not going to go through every bait in each box. I'm doing this a bit for your benefit and my benefit, but I don't want to take the time to look at everything. I'm just doing a scan, and I'm going to talk about a few things. So just about in every box there's going to be a standout, right? There's going to be baits that don't belong in there. How they got in there, I don't know, but we could do a little bit of organizing as we go through these boxes. Here's a popper, right? That's a topwater bait. That color is decent for a water that's a little cleaner, stained a little lighter than what is down here, and that's more of a spring bait. Definitely has an opinion. Most people's opinion of this bait, of this type of bait, a popper like this, is that they only catch dink bass. But it's a small bait. Maybe a larger popper would catch bigger. So it's probably just the fact that it's small. I don't use poppers very often. And then we have some gliders, but it's kind of in the jerkbait category, right? So we will just leave these in here. And then there's another bait that is standing out to me over here in the corner, and it's a bit of an old school bait. Honestly, I've never used this. This is a really old bait right here. This is a very old hard bait. I'm not even sure who that's made by, but it's kind of cool. I don't know what category that would fit in. Should I leave it out and put it in another box? Do I have any more like that? Would you call that a jerkbait? Maybe I thought it looked like a jerkbait. I don't know much about those. Those are not common down here. Other places maybe. Some of these boxes are not absolutely full, right? This is almost like that bait. It's similar to the one I just showed you, that really old one. Again, this is a vintage bait as well. I may have got this, my father may have given this to me. I'm not sure. Probably. That's obviously some kind of old school craw bait. Goes backwards. That's what tells you that's a craw, and the pattern tells you it's a craw bait. So there's a lot of rattle traps in here. This is not an old bait. It's kind of it's a soft plastic bait, but it's pre-hooked. I remember people liked using this for striper. Again, my freshwater down here is too darkly stained and too dirty for this. This would be better a little further north where the water's cleaner. A lot of these baits. Now here is a bait that has a bit of a stupid looking pattern. I have quite a few of these. This came from another collection, I think. And this one here, this rattle trap here, may have as well, but maybe not. These might not have came from... It's been so long since I looked at these particular baits. They might be legitimate, they might be by well-known companies, but they might be a part of that, one of those collections, because I received a few of those. This is an old school rattle trap here. Quite a few of them in here, but most of these, maybe this would work down here. I've tried it down here quite a few times and never had any luck. At times these silver rattle traps, these smoky shad pattern, those work down here, but I haven't had too much luck. You would think that sometimes this would, but no, this is just a little too fired up. But other places, these things would probably work really good. And the one of the standout baits in here, and there's a few, is this deep diver. This is fairly old. This came from a garage sale somewhere in Texas, if I remember correctly. Look how cool that looks. Okay, any other standout baits? This is an interesting bait. Who's that by? Can you see that? Buckley? That probably belongs with the jerkbaits. I'm not trying to spend a lot of time in here doing stuff. I'm just trying to alleviate the pressure off that table. It is really hot. I'm already soaked with sweat. This could be in that jerkbait box as well. Maybe while we're here, we'll just put these to the side. And over here, out of the view of the camera, I have some rattle traps that were just loose. I'll put these in here. I've got various ones here, small and big, different weights. I bought this one myself many years ago, like 14 years ago, at Professional in the CBD. I found a home for this one right here. So this is Topwater. Oh, what are you guys doing in here? We're doing some major organizing today. I don't want to get too intense. So some of these would work here, right? Like this. I've caught with this one right here, this jitterbug, right? Is that what that's, yeah. But I have, that's a duplicate. I have one in a to-go box already. And then I have the smaller version of that, which, let's put those together. They're similar, they're not exactly the same. So here's a collection of poppers that came from an e-commerce site, and they look like they would, they match my Tortie, my female cat, more than what I would think would be a good pattern. They're just kind of weird. And I might not keep those and put them back. And we have some other poppers right here. I think poppers would work better somewhere else. I've just never had any good luck with them down here, except for in saltwater. We got some massive ones here. We got like a homemade, handmade, vintage. Oh, you want to see that? That's just a seriously, that's been through the wars. Seriously messed up. Look at this. What is that, an old spackling knife? Someone turned into a topwater lure? Or this may have originally been a topwater lure. It's cool. It's cool. I think my father gave that to me not like my father curated baits for me. He just bought random junk boxes of stuff for $1 and dropped them on me. Here's another interesting bait. I've already picked up this mess here, but I forgot to mention how cool this one is. It may not look very cool. It's likely missing something that stuck on the end maybe, but it's obviously very old. Does that say Japan? This should be fairly self-explanatory. Jigs for panfish, sockeye, other things that hit little jigs. We got a collection of spinners, 4 of those little jigs, and some hair jigs and some loose baits in here that could be used at a later date or could just be trashed. So the only cool thing in here that I will point out individually is a collection of these little spinner baits that I really like, and I've used them down here, but they're more effective in cleaner water up north with different species. Real quick with this box. Little crankbaits. Some ones that are so small I might refer to them as wobblers. Now there's a lot of baits in here. Oh shoot, look at this. Look at all that. Bunch of rattle traps, you know? I think those should be with the other rattle traps, even though, oh, here's a bunch of other ones. Even though they're all micro rattle traps, I think I should have them together. Yeah, there are some baits in here that I love, that are really good. They're by decent companies that I trust. And then there's ones in here that I think are just garbage, but maybe I haven't fished them in the right water. But like this whole mess right, oh, there you go. This whole mess right here. This came in a collection from an e-commerce site a long time ago. The idea was that I review it, and I tried to, and I was just like, I had to tell them, your stuff is crap. And they never sent me anything else again. Again, a no-name company. It was an e-commerce site, not the actual maker of these. There was no name, no maker, no brand on this. These are just random. Look at the weird patterns. Some of these, like this one right here, maybe, but then you look at this one and you're like, yeah, it looks more like a tropical fish. I don't know, but apart from the weird patterns of those, they just don't track that well. And then here's every bait in this little corner here is of the same class but a different collection, right? They kind of work, they can catch, but they don't track the best. Their action isn't good. And then we have various ones that are good here. All right, so maybe this could be reorganized, but later date. Not much in this box either. What do we got in here? Oh shoot, I just saw a box with a couple of segmented baits, and now this box is all segmented, all gliders. And here we have some more baits from that weird pattern collection from some e-commerce site many years ago. Look how clean these look. That's just because I've never used these. They got 3 different segments. I can't put a lot of faith behind these patterns. Maybe it's just that I haven't fished them in the right water, but again, they don't track that right. There are cheap baits that surprise you, and they track their action is good in the water. Like this is by a reputable company. This is a Rapala. It's an older one, But there are a lot of cheap baits that, you know, they surprise you, and then there's ones that are just, it's not worth it. You think you're saving some money by buying it, but it doesn't catch fish, or it's not very productive. It doesn't work very well. That's a Rapala again. Here's another one. That's a Fire Tiger pattern. Works far better up north in clean water. There is a whopper plopper that I found somewhere floating in the water. Needs to be taken care of. Put that back right there. This I may have bought up north, but sometimes this jerkbait, which this should be with the other jerkbaits, sometimes this works for trout. If you got clean water, this can work for trout at certain times. Not much in this box. This is all stuff for white bass. It's just all white stuff for the most part. We're not going to give it much time. That's the time we gave it. I imagine there's people. Ooh, look at that. This is a nice deep diver. Maybe, do I have room for that sparkly deep diver in that other box? Maybe not. These are all crankbaits of various types, but again, most of these would work better up north. Some of them on certain days, like these colors here, or this smoky shad color, could work down here at certain times, but for the most part they have not, so they stay in here. But a lot of these, some of these were actually bought by me up north, like in Wisconsin. Some came from other sources. There's a low diver that would work better in cleaner water to clear water. A lot of these are by reputable companies. Actually, I think I found this stuck in a tree in Texas, if I remember correctly. I believe that's true. Yeah, quite a few of these are decent and will be coming on the way up north. Oh, this box is heavy. Yeah, I was gonna say something, but then I got sidetracked by that stuff. So this is an older box for jigs for me, and this is bigger jigs. Sometimes I get into this, but honestly, I've got plenty of jig stock in my other to-go boxes, my smaller boxes. I got a lot of bass jigs in here. For whatever reason, I don't throw bass jigs down here in southeast Louisiana often. It's rare, but I go a little further north, even maybe just to the North Shore, definitely East Texas, they become super productive with like some kind of chunk bait, some kind of trailer. So there's a lot of that in here. Then there's a lot of like different styles of jigs, different weights, different colors. Here's another bass jig, but that's got an underspin on it. It's like a marabou, like a hair jig. That works really good. Other places, not so much here. So whenever I'm like showing off tackle, sometimes there's someone in the comment section, or a few people, I've noticed this over the years, that will say, oh, I have more than that. I'm not trying to impress you with the amount of stuff I have. I'm just showing you what I have. I don't think I'm special because I have a bunch of stuff. You gotta remember, I do this for a living. And that's why I have so much, because I've been doing this for a long time. This isn't like after a year of buying stuff. This is an old box of catfish stuff. This is my old catfish stock box. Now my catfish stock tackle is a drawer, a big drawer. But there's some things in here that are good. This is hooks and bits and bobs of tackle. We are more than halfway through these 16 boxes. This is similar to the box I just showed you. As you can see, it's bass stuff. Bass stuff that I don't really use. It's kind of extra. It could be eliminated. It could be worked into other things. But probably if it's coming up north, then other things are going to get worked into it. Because right now my bass tackle surplus, or where I pull stuff from, is a drawer. It's actually more than one drawer. I got a lot of drawers. So these are bigger baits right here. For saltwater mostly. Go up north, you could use these for muskie and pike, possibly. This is more of a tarpon lure. It is an actual tarpon lure. And here's a nice topwater walk the dog style lure. These can be expensive, these bigger lures. 12 to on up a piece. Another box of hard baits. This box isn't that well organized, but you're going to see a theme as you look. Let me readjust the camera a second here. If you look, you'll see that these are all saltwater baits curated for here. But we have some jigs in here. We have some old tarnished weedless spoons there. Topwater. We have a couple of Menhaden patterned rattle traps for trout. Jerk baits when the water's clean. We have some underspins for redfish. We have some old shrimp baits there. Various things, as you can see. This box will probably not come up north. This box will probably go to Florida. Not much in this box. This is just some frogs and this that I've never took out of the package. A frog that I've never took out of the package. It looks kind of like an older style frog, but that would work better in cleaner water, and that's what's up. There are a couple here that would work down here. I used to fish frogs a lot more often than I do of lately. That one would work here because it's black. This would work good. Tomorrow is the full moon. This might work good during the full moon here. And here we have another boxed up bait that I may use somewhere else rather than here. This is a Sakale box. It's kind of, there's more than just that in here. But this is sort of a vintage Sakale box, or I should say it has vintage Sakale gear in it. Such as these. These are minnow rigs from back in the day. 69 cents. So you know it's vintage. And there's quite a few from various companies here. And there's other bits and bobs in here. There's leaders I've tied for various things. There's also death roll hooks. More of a northern thing for rough fishing and walleye fishing, like when you're using night crawlers. Various things like that here. Sorry about that. Camera overheated. You should see the puddle of sweat right here that built up behind the camera as I was shooting this. So yeah, this is just various hooks and stuff that I would use up north when I'm course fishing for different things like suckers and quillbacks. And then we have some Thill slip corks. That is an essential item, a slip cork like that, when you're going for crappie, or as I like to say, Sakale up north, which it's gonna be white crappie, right? Some really big ones up there. They taste really good coming out of the cold water. And we have just various things for panfish in here. This is like a bait box, like it's for panfish and Sakale, but for live bait, including worms, right? It's a collection of terminal tackle for that. And we also have, for the Black Widows, we have pre-made lines. Either you make them yourselves and you keep them on this keeper, or they come pre-made on that keeper, right? All right, so we got one more box. Camera may overheat, so we're just gonna do this in one shot. So this is the last box, and this box is metal. It is so metal. Look at this. This is how metal it is. It's, you'll look and you'll go, oh, those don't belong there. Oh, those don't belong there. There's a reason why they're in here. These are all metal. This is basically a lead right here with a spinner on it and a treble hook. More of a northern thing. These are the same, but more like, it looks like a jerkbait at first, but it's actually a lighter weight than those right there. Good river fishing tackle right there. Same thing with some of these. We have different spoons. We have Castmaster spoons, different sizes, and then we have these homemade ones. That's a spoon, and then this is the other part of that spoon right there, the handle and the spoon. Yeah, any other cool things in here? Oh, these are really cool. I particularly like these, but they're more productive in other waters that are nowhere near me. Maybe the pearl at certain times of the year. Yeah, white bass hit these Castmasters, these silver Castmasters, more than they do the gold, so that those can work here. But I tend to just use a different kind of spoon, like small weedless spoons. Sometimes these, but I prefer the weedless, because the problem with throwing a Castmaster around here, you lose them. It's a problem wherever you go, but there are places where you're going to lose them less and they're going to actually be more productive, right? All right, we don't want an overheat situation again, so last box is done. So there's a lot more tackle in here than that. That's just tackle. Either it's garbage. There's some garbage in there, right? But a lot of it's just for cleaner water that I either got when I was up there, when I would fly up there to fish cleaner water, or I got somewhere else for up there. You know, you go to a garage sale or you go to a tackle shop and they've got a bargain bin. You know, you go to a garage sale and if you know what you're doing, you could get a box of tackle for $1 or, you know, almost nothing. But most of that tackle isn't rated for down here. You look at it and you go, I'm not going to be able to use that down here, but if I keep it in the right conditions, it's going to, like, a lot of this is like 14, 15 years old, right? And the stuff that looks beat and rusted and stuff is not because of the way I kept it. It's because that's what it looked like when I got it. So a lot of these that look brand new are in reality 14, 15, 12, 10 years old with my history, right? They've been with me that long. They may have been around longer than that because I got them used or whatever. Or like with the bargain bin at a tackle shop down here, a lot of times you look at that bargain bin, say you're going to be traveling somewhere where the water's totally different than here or wherever you're at, and you go into the tackle shop and the bargain bin has a bunch of baits, and some of them are going to be just straight up garbage. It's just a crap bait. It doesn't work no matter what, no matter where you are. But then some are just baits that are good and they work, but not in that area. So no one's going to buy them because they're not really for that area. It's just out of place, you know. Like maybe it's too fired up or it's too dark or some other factor, right? But it's cheap. And if you know what you're doing and you look at it and you go, oh, you know, in a few months I'm going up to Missouri and the water's a lot cleaner, that would work there. And if I don't get it at this price and I go up there and get something similar, it's going to cost me a lot more because it's not going to be on sale. It's not going to be in a bin, not in a bargain bin. So be wise when you're looking at the bargain bin. There are some people, we know quite a few, we all know someone who does this. We may be talking to people right now who do it. People who spend more time buying tackle than they actually do fishing that tackle. There's a lot of people who do that. I get it. I get it. Some of us don't have time to do the things we love. A lot of people, they're like, oh, fishing's not work. But it is for me. It's what I do for a living. And when things are good, I'm doing it every day. But then there's people who only get to do it so often, and they're going into the store to buy some tomatoes or whatever. They're in Walmart, and if you go into a regular grocery store, you're not going to be able to get stuff for fishing. But if you're going into Walmart just to get a loaf of bread and some butter, and all of a sudden you find yourself looking at the tackle, well, you might end up buying something even though you can't go fishing for a while because you're doing all that overtime. Yeah, but then there's people who legitimately fish once or twice a year, but they're always buying stuff, and when they could be saving their money. Like they don't make money, they don't have a lot of money, but they're walking out of the store every time, even though they're broke, with a 12 or 18 pack of Bud Light and a bunch of baits that ain't worth crap. There's people like that. Yep. But just don't be that way. Be smart. Get what you need, and if it's a good deal and you can use it a few months later when you're going somewhere, get it. But if it's becoming a problem, stop doing it. Stop wasting your money if it's not working for you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're right. All right, hopefully I can get to fishing, but I got a puddle of sweat here and still got thunder in the distance and rain coming and stuff to do. I feel like just making this video, I lost 10 pounds. It's right here on the floor and everywhere, and now these, about maybe 8 of that pounds that I lost is soaked into my clothing. It's not friendly in here. The camera hates it. The dog is only in here because I'm in here. And yeah, you're right, I gotta get out of here. So thanks for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, being a member of the channel. Yeah, you're right, and I will see you next time.